Thank you for joining us tonight, everyone. The webinar will start now.
Good evening. Thank you for being here tonight. My name is Claudia Hian, and welcome to a talk between Eugenia Gajardo and Katia Anaya, entitled The Joy of Living and Dying. A short background on our speakers. Eugenia is a counselor and a psychotherapist. She holds a master's degree in social science and has extensive personal growth and development training spanning over 25 years, including over 18 years experience in the corporate world. In 2005, she spent 3 years in a live-in student ashram pursuing 2,400 hours of yogic studies and her diploma on teacher training. She's a meditation teacher, a writer, a poet, and an artist. In 2019, she was diagnosed with a rare terminal lung disease, and today she shares her journey of facing the inevitable, its challenges, realizations, and thoughts. She also shares with us the importance of demystifying death through open conversations and talks. Katia Anaya de la Fuente is a multifaceted Mexican thanatologist with a solid academic formation and diverse international background. She holds a bachelor's degree in political science and a master's degree in performing arts management. Although Catholic by upbringing, she has studied rigorously and practiced Tibetan Buddhism for more than 20 years, with several spiritual leaders in Mexico, Canada, France, and Asia. She obtained in 2019 her diploma in thanatology from the National University of Mexico with the thesis, Buddhist Practices for a Better Living and Dying and Its Implications for Thanatology. She presently lives in Singapore with her 2 children and her spouse, the current Mexican ambassador. I would like to thank our production team for helping us put together this event tonight. Charles Resandi, Christopher Purnawan, Clarice Ang, Fatilla Consan, Circe Genestrosa, and Merlita Simpao. For the audience at home, please feel free to send your questions via the chat at any time. Thank you.
Thank you, Claudia. Before we start, we would like to remind you all to send in your questions through the chat. Now, we will start with Katia Anaya. Katia?
For a thanatologist like me, it is a great honor, privilege, and opportunity to be sitting with Eugenia Gajardo to talk about the joy of living and dying. Thanatology is a scientific study of death and the losses brought as a result from a humanistic perspective. My interest in thanatology started when I was 5 years old. In a span of 3 months, my beloved grandfather and aunt died. I experienced great grief, but also my spirit was awakened. I became a human being with a deep longing for connection. When my other grandparents became ill, it was very natural for me to want to accompany them through their disease, dying and burial. I realized early on in my life that dying patients were full of wisdom and life. For me, all that matters in life is illuminated by the fact that life is finite, that death is definite, although it's indefinite when it will come. Maybe being Mexican makes me especially sensitive to the duality that death represents of joy of life and pain in loss, and of celebration and mourning, so well represented in our festivities of the Day of the Dead. I encountered Tibetan Buddhism when I was 25 years old. I felt in love with this amazing religion, philosophy, and way of living. It inspires you for knowing thyself, taming your mind, preparing for a fulfilling life and a meaningful death. In Buddhism, dying is graduation day. You are either ready to encounter the nature of reality or you are not. Such a confrontation with the fact of death highlights at every moment the need to cherish life from its smallest offerings to its most spectacular manifestations. Please welcome Eugenia. My first question to you is, what is your motivation to share your story with us?
Oh, that's something very deep for me because death is a taboo subject in my culture and in most of the cultures I've been exposed to, and definitely in many a way in Asia too. And I have been questioning, inquiring about death for a long time because I've had very clear in my mind that I didn't know when I was born, but I will certainly or most likely be aware when I'm going to die, unless I die of an accident or some form of attack, which it was not my ideal way to die, because I always had this fantasy from very young that I wanted to be present at my death. I wanted to die consciously of that passing, of that transition. Here I am in this life, and there is, I figured, a transition to whatever, could be silence, nothingness, or I don't know what. So I've spent a long time inquiring, exploring, and looking at that. And I noticed how people are not open to talk about it. My daughter is morbid at that time. Why are you talking about this? So when it confronted me with the reality. You have a terminal illness. They are 3 to 5 years. I hooked on the 3 years, and I was right there confronted with the reality of my own death. And at that moment, I was thrilled to bits. I was thrilled to bits.
I relate very much with you with that fantasy of wanting to be present for that day.
Yeah. Woody Allen says, I'm not afraid of death. I just don't want to be there when it happens. I am the opposite.
You are the opposite.
I'm not afraid of death. Please let me meet her.
I relate to that very, very deeply. Sogyal Rinpoche, the writer of the Tibetan Book of Living and Dying, says that death is a mirror in which life is reflected. How can our lives be enriched by the awareness that we are all going to die, Eugenia?
But making the most of the moment we're alive. That's how. This is all I have right now. You know, in a minute I could go click, my lungs could go in collapse and say, that's it. So all I have is right here, right now, to live it the way I want to live it. Connecting, like we are connecting now, with a purpose. I want to destigmatize death. I have an art book I like to complete. I have letters I like to write. There is a sense of purpose in my life.
And
I have
of
so
living
much to
fully.
give. Yes, yes. Because nobody knows when we are going to die. Life is not a gift. As far as I'm concerned, it's on loan. You have to give it back. But you don't know when. Just like you didn't know, except you didn't know when you were going to be born. You know? But some of us know more or less when we are going to die, or when we should have died in my case. But I'm still, you know, stretching my life. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Eugenia, how long ago were you diagnosed with your terminal illness, and what was your reaction and sentiment when you heard the news?
19th of April, 5th of April, 2019. I was excited. I thought, wow, look at those legs. Now I know what is going to take me. And how exciting. But the next thought was, my goodness, what about my daughter? Wow, it's not all about me. It's not all about me. What about her? So that my daughter was traveling. May I have some water, please? My daughter was traveling, and
Thank you very much, Lita.
And I thought, my mouth gets very dry. I thought that it's not something I can tell her on the phone, or what's happened, what's happened. So I figure I'll wait for her to come back. And I couldn't tell her with the excitement that I had, because that would be complete lack of empathy for the space that she was likely to go in, So when I told her, she says, "Oh, Mom, we're going to fight it." I said, "No, we're not going to fight anything. I don't want to fight. We're going to beat this illness." I don't know, there is nothing to beat, nothing at all. What are we going to do? I said, we're going to work with it. It is what it is. I have a terminal lung disease. So we learn everything about it and see how we manage.
So there was full acceptance.
Yes, from my
when
part.
you heard the
For
news.
her, the first year was tough, because a year has passed already. It was tough, but now we come to a point that we can openly talk about literally anything related to that.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Which personal qualities in your life prepared you the most for accepting your disease?
Which personal quality? Prepare me the most?
For accepting your disease?
Open-mindedness. Open-mindedness. Because if I would not have had an open mind, I wouldn't have had the curiosity and the interest I had in exploring death, because I would have followed the tradition or what I was taught. So it was openness of mind to be able to explore, and then curiosity, huge curiosity, kepo, local slang. I want to know, tell me, I want to know more. How come? Tell me more. No. And inquiring within myself. Yes, openness of mind, curiosity, action. I'm a person of action. I don't just dream. What a boy, just dream for nothing. I mean, live in the dream and then open my eyes and nothing is there. Ooh, so sad. No, I dream to make my dreams come true. You know, if I can dream it, I can do it. And if I can't do it, don't dream it. What's the point? I'm
Very
not going
pragmatic.
to dream to be a dancer in the Royal Ballet if I'll never make it because I don't have the body that it takes, you know. I will suffer. And suffering is an option. Pain is not an option, but suffering is an option. You know, there's no point. So I'm extremely pragmatic. Let's add pragmatism. But I'm also romantic, hypersensitive. I'm full of contradiction.
Fascinating. You are a fascinating woman.
A time bomb.
Yes, Buddha said, like you are saying, that pain is inherent to human existence,
Yes.
but that suffering is optional.
Yes, that's exactly it.
Yes.
Yes. And I am one that discovered I'm experiential. I don't really care. Somebody wrote it, somebody experienced it. Wonderful. That's their experience. That's what they felt. That's how they saw it. It's okay. But I want to have my experience.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
I want to go through it myself. I want to see how I respond to the same situation. I am my own laboratory. I go inside me and play with all the bits and pieces inside. It's wonderful that another one has done it, and let's have a conversation, but that's your experience. I don't adopt that as my belief system or structure.
How have your analytical training as a psychotherapist and your sensibility as an artist helped you cope with your condition?
The interesting part is that it's not my analytical training as a psychotherapist. It was my analytical training that made the psychotherapist find me. Because I didn't become who I am because I became a psychotherapist.
Yes.
I became a psychotherapist because I am that I am.
Beautiful.
You know, it found me. I didn't find it. Yeah. So I was already like that. So for me, psychotherapy was like a glove in my hand, already there. My hand was already there. It just fitted in perfectly, you know. So my analytical mind and my creative mind, and also a mind that can be so focused, so targeted, and so centered, can be extremely scattered. You know, but when my mind is scattered, it finds goalposts, and after a while, it links them all together, and I got the big picture. So I know how my mind works quite intimately. So I'm very comfortable within my scatteredness and my focus. You know, I don't struggle with either one. And yes, my focus is affected by my medicaments now, which is a challenge to keep my mind, that part of my mind, managed. Yeah. But with my counseling, it both made me very special and very different in my approach. You know, very pragmatic and very sensitive and ethereal, and I can, you know, visionary in many ways. So the opposite poles interacting together.
Your patients were lucky to have you.
And I was so fortunate to have them because they taught me so much and they allowed me to see what was going on inside their own minds. You know, they trusted me implicitly, most of them, in that journey. So I learned from them infinitely.
Beautiful.
You know, by being able to see inside their heads and for them to be true, to allow me to see the light and the darkness, and mostly with no judgment. But when I would judge, I will suspend the judgment because it's only a judgment. So I know when I judge, I suspend, and then I see the facts. Either support that judgment or say, no, that was not it. I say, okay, drop it. And yeah, so analytical mind is being very supportive in many ways, but it's not my specialty to be analytical.
Eugenia,
It's Linda.
I know that you have a deep-rooted meditation practice. How has this discipline helped you enhance the quality of your life and overcome the hardest days during these recent years?
Meditation for me is like a deep, solid foundation. I mean, if I wouldn't have had the meditation training, and I'm talking about hardcore training like Vipassana with S.N. Goenka. You know, I'm not talking about visualization. I'm not talking about contemplation. I'm not talking about guided meditation. I'm talking about a state of being that one drops into as a result of a practice, and they go deeper from there. I've gone into, several 10 days meditation retreats with 11 hours of meditation a day. So 3 of those hours without moving. So it's very deep and intense. And with S.N. Goenka as a teacher, who is an incredible teacher with the old meditation from Burma, which was closed for 1,500 years. So it's the old practice. I'm talking about serious meditation. And where I was able to separate my mind from my body and make that so easily spoken, or the observer and the observed is an intellectual understanding. But how do we leave that? How do we bring that to be the object of observation, the observer, and then something bigger and greater at the top? You know, how to split that within ourselves. Without those practices, I would not be able to have the experience that I have today. And that went through over years. And visualization. Visualization was extremely powerful for me, because at that point I discovered that I have a hell of a lot more going on in my head than I thought. I couldn't believe that I was a puppet of what I was taught, and I was just a replaying machine, regurgitating what I was taught and what my mother, bless her soul, who she was, and that I didn't have a mind of my own when it came to fundamentals. Yeah, mind of my own where I go today for lunch and dinner, but when it came to fundamentals, how do I respond to a situation and, actually make a choice versus knee-jerking? I would knee-jerk what I learned. But I thought, what do you mean? I have no control over what I'm responding? So I didn't know about that. And then I did a course that brought me into a workshop, an elevator down to a workshop in my mind, where I had every single tool I needed in my life there. And that flipped me over, because that was the first time I saw the mind as a piece of equipment, as a tool, I'm not my mind. I have a mind, and this mind can do lots of things. Wow! I can go in there and I have a whole freaking workshop, you know, and I can see it, and I can open drawers, and I can close the drawers, and I can go around. That opened a new universe for me. I was, you know, 30, my little girl was 36, must have been 32 years old or 31. I had searched and searched and searched. And then, boom, I came into that. I said, right, I got it. You know, so the door was opened by visualization, exploration of my mind, and then meditation helped me to go to those spaces in order to get to really know my mind and make that differences between who am I, my thought, my emotions, my body, my actions, and to see myself as something bigger and greater and separate than that. And then
You
beyond.
motivate me to continue meditation practice. I want
It's
to experience
precious.
all that you are talking
It's precious.
about.
It's precious. Yes.
Milarepa,
Yeah.
the most important Tibetan saint, said, "My religion is to live and die without regrets." Do you have any regrets?
You know, like Frank Sinatra said, I have a few too small to mention.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I really love that saying about Milarepa. No?
Yes.
It takes
Yes.
it takes a lot of practice also and a lot of courage
And
to live
detachment.
without regrets and
To be aware that at that moment, when I may have made those decisions, at that moment, being who I was then, knowing what I knew, I made the best decision possible. Because at that moment, that was my best. That was my best.
We do the best we can.
Yes, and if I would have had this mind at that moment, of course I would have done something different. But between then and now, I've walked all these, which given me experience in a different way. I did not have all this then. So there's nothing to regret
Absolutely.
because it wasn't even a mistake. At that moment, I thought, this is the thing to do. You know, I did my best. And so I do now.
Gorgeous. Through our conversations about meditation and your artistic expression, I sense the mind of a great practitioner. Do you feel prepared to die?
Oh, absolutely. If I die right here, right now, just looking at you, I go happy. Absolutely. Yeah,
You are a big lesson to us.
absolutely.
You are a
Yeah.
big teacher to us.
Yeah, and I see the
Thank
universe
you.
through you. Because as I said that, I saw my daughter, I saw friends, I saw in your eyes. Yeah.
Dearest Eugenia, the title of this conversation tonight is The Joy of Living and Dying. We have talked in length about the joy of dying. What about the joy of living?
I think my joy of living has been enhanced and enriched deeply by the fact that I've always known I'm going to die. That I got into this train, I had no consciousness. Somewhere in my late 20s, in my early 30s, I became fully conscious. The rest was like a ping pong ball, you know, struggling and falling and all kinds of, oh my goodness gracious, let me tell you, the whole book in there. But from there on came my journey of living consciously and creating relationships the way I wanted them to be, not the way they just turned out to be. Yeah. So the joy of living for me has become huge the moment I realized I got in this train, I have a journey, I need to get off at one point. So this journey that I don't know how long will it last, I better live it to the fullest because it's all I got. Yeah, at least that I know.
Yes.
And what I don't know, so no point to think about it. You know, if nobody else knows, at least in my mind, I know, then I better make the best out of it. So every day is a new day. Every moment is a new moment. I have no repeats in my computer.
Beautiful. Dear Eugenia,
Linda.
I want to acknowledge your generosity, your courage, your lucidity, for sharing with us your unique, positive, joyful, and purposeful experience of life. I feel in the presence of a beautiful human being that has a sense of urgency to share her wisdom to inspire us to live fulfilled lives. For that, and I am ever grateful to you.
And I to you for the opportunity and for being there to receive what I have to give and giving me so much by doing that. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Love you. Yeah.
You too.
Thank you, Eugenia and Katya. We will now begin the Q&A session. Feel free to send in your questions through the chat.
Gustavo Ayares, hello from Jakarta, a caring hug for Eugenia. Yes, this will be recorded. Thank you for asking, and please distribute it when you get the recording. From New York, I am afraid of death, my loved ones, and even more since the COVID-19 pandemic. How do you suggest we embrace our own inevitable death and not be afraid of it?
That is a very big question. How to embrace death and not be afraid of it, like now. I think it is first by embracing life, by being grateful for life, for what we have lived, for what we have enjoyed, for the good we may have done. And from there, to feel that everyone, in one measure or another, we have made a difference. We have made a contribution. We have affected other human beings in a positive way. And from that point, begin to say that it will come the time when we have to live. Life is not a gift to keep. Life is on loan to be returned. And when we look at all the good things and the pleasures and the enjoyment and the love and the connections and the good we have done, then it is easier to say, well, death will come. And when death comes, then we can find that peace. And if when those thoughts begin to arise, there is anything that one would like to complete or do, well, this is the time. Don't hesitate. Just do whatever you want to do and you haven't yet done. Take risk. Go for it. This life is yours for you to do whatever you want with it. It is your choice. Yes, there are things we can't control. Let's make a difference which one we can and which one we cannot, so that we can get ourselves ready to die. No, we cannot control COVID, but yes, we can control how we deal with it. And that's the key. Not the situations, but how we deal with it. It's not death itself, it's how we deal with it. And because you're alive now, you can prepare. You can prepare. And let COVID be that wake-up call that probably many of us needed in the planet. Yeah? Yes.
At this point in your life, what can you share about the act of forgiveness, Eugenia?
Ooh. You know, I spent years saying it's not about forgiveness. You know, I spent years saying it's about acceptance. You know, things happen. Those people I may have hurt in my life without meaning to. I didn't mean to hurt them. Are they to forgive me? Those people that have hurt me, and they probably didn't even realize, am I to forgive them? Or is it about accepting that in the human condition, we are flawed beings, and that at every state of the way, we do the best we can at that point in time, being who we were at that moment, choosing to do the best that we could in that situation. So acceptance was very important to me in that context. But I realized with time and age that yes, there is an element there. That it is forgiveness in a way that says, it's okay. I know you didn't mean it. And being as you are, I still love you. It's all right. So, a mixture of acceptance and forgiveness, perhaps. Yeah.
How do we prepare to lose you? It's a question.
It's tough. But the most beautiful way to prepare to lose me is to love me while I'm here. I don't know. It's about letting go. It's like if you have a bird in your hand and you like that little bird, you don't want to imprison it. You don't want to cage it. You say, oh, I love to keep it, but love is about letting go. Love is not about imprisoning and locking and restricting and limiting. Love is about letting go.
So, once again, you are giving us a big, big lesson in life. Letting go. So, loving you, it's a gift. And you teaching us that love is letting go, it's very, very beautiful.
Because just before I'm ready to go, I would like to say goodbye to those that are closest to me. And it will be of great peace to me at that time if I would know that at that moment they're actually letting me go. And then I can truly say goodbye. Yeah. I go in peace. Yes. Thank you.
Since your diagnosis in April 2019, would you change anything in your journey so far?
Oh, wow. These are really deep questions, which I love. Everything has been the way it's meant to be. Exactly the way it's meant to be. It's what it is. It was what it was. If I wanted to change anything, I already did. And if I didn't at the time, it's because I didn't think it was needed. So when I look back, this since 19th of April when I was diagnosed, everything happened just the way it was meant to happen. And as a result of that, I have the joy and the pleasure and the honor to be talking with you and sharing with all of you about the joy of living and dying.
Dear Eugenia, thank you for sharing your story with us. I hope my question is not too intrusive. What do you think or hope will happen after death? Is something you keep in mind?
Oh, my dear, if I would have the answer to that. I have no freaking clue. No, I have no idea. You know, I've never been there. This is my first time. Just like Alaska, I never went to Alaska. You know, I don't know. I've always heard snippets of people who say they died for some time and came back. But that's their experience. No, I've never been there. So I have no clue. Maybe it's like a switch. Like when I go to sleep, I try to grasp that moment between being awakened and falling to sleep. And I've tried every which way, and I've never been able to do it. The same, if I've had anesthesia, I can't grasp it. That's the only thing I imagine. That. Yes. I'm going to put a little and continue.
With the oxygen, you can answer? Okay. So there are some comments, so you can catch your breath. Katia querida, that is for me. Infinitas gracias. Thank you all for being here with us, having this very relevant conversation, and for letting us reveal what this conversation has to offer to all of us. Without you, this wouldn't be possible. Eugenia, we love you. We love you very much. What's your religion? It's a question.
Life. Life. Life and the people who lives around me. They are Mother Earth, the universe. All those around me have given me courage. They have given me self-confidence, trust. They have taken a risk with me so many times. They have been the source of my energy. You know, a moment ago I felt vulnerable, and you're holding my hand, and you are giving me strength, and you're giving me, it will be okay. So that's been my religion. People have nurtured me, have believed in me, have been there when I needed someone. People is my daughter, the closest one. Solid like a rock. And I know that she is gentle like a siren, but can be strong like a rock. Yes. So other religion I don't have.
Religion. What is living life to the fullest without physically being able to do some things?
Sorry?
What is living life to the fullest without physically being able to do some things?
I don't understand the question, I'm sorry.
I think the question refers to the fact that with the limitations that the disease has brought you, how are you able to live so lively and with so much joy and purpose and meaning?
Because I don't think of the limitations I have. I think of what I've left, the possibilities that I now have. That's my journey to say, okay, I can't walk, so we get a scooter. I cannot do the scooter. Okay, let's do the wheelchair. Here, and with the wheelchair, here. Yes, there is whole science around change management because changing is very difficult for most people, but although I can be, oh my God, can I be stubborn? Let me tell you the ways. But on the other hand, because I'm full of dichotomies and contradictions, yin and yang and male and female and positive and negative and adventurous and conservative, I can be like a chameleon. I can adapt. And also I can identify what is controllable, meaning within my possibilities. Give me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. Give me the courage to change the things that I can. But most of all, I need the wisdom to know the difference. Yes, yes, yes. And that helps me to adapt. Yes, yes, like that.
How do you imagine your development as a person if you had left your home in Chile?
If I hadn't left,
Yes, I don't know what it is.
if
Yes, how do you
I
imagine
would
your
have
development
developed,
as a person if you had
not left
you
Chile.
so yeah,
Yeah.
if you
Well-
had not left your home in Chile?
I would be in a, I would be doing webinars about living and dying. Yes,
Wherever you are.
yes,
Yes.
yes, 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 yes. I would have found causes and arts, and I would have got involved in the theater, and I would have, yes, yes. I am that I am,
You are that you are.
and I would be me there too. Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Feeling.
Right now?
Yes,
Well-
because we can add a couple of more questions.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And there is another comment here. Thank you, Eugenia. Listening to you is a blessing. We love you. Does it help to believe in an afterlife when facing death?
It depends who is the person. It doesn't help me to believe in life after death because I would believing in something I don't know for sure what it's there. It's like, for me, would be like reading Little Red Riding Hood or a story or a fantasy, because I don't know, and there are so many different versions that come from other people of what is afterlife, depending what their belief systems and structures are. And I always say I'm the most ignorant person in this planet. I ain't got no clue. So how would I choose? Oh, she's right, but she's wrong. No, maybe that one is right. No, maybe I cannot. I get very confused. So I retreat in the acceptance of my ignorance. And I come back and I say to you, I don't know. And I hope I go there and I can come back and tell you. But chances are that I won't, because for thousands of years, we are still trying to figure out the mystery of death.
How would you like to be remembered?
Ah, ask whoever like to remember me. Because it's something personal to each individual. And I would not want to intervene. Remember me as a little mirror of who they are.
That is really beautiful. That is really beautiful. There is a question for me. What has Eugenia taught you? You have taught me many things, many things. The one that stands out for me, you have reminded me the importance of meditation practice. And that is very, very big for me because we get distracted in life. And it's easy, to forget that is really important. And it's really important for everyday life to be able to live moment to moment, to be able to be the observer of our emotions, our thoughts, and not become them, because then the whole ego trip starts. So you have reminded me to not be distracted, to have my priorities, because I have found a lot of inspiration in you, and I will remember you as a beautiful mirror. And I want to be ready, like you are, when the day comes.
And in my heart, I will be with you.
I know. And I will be with you also.
I know that.
I will be with you. I love Eugenia. I love your poetry and your paintings. And there is a poem that I love because you read it to me when we met. And it's very special to me. I am grateful. So would you read it for us, please?
Oh. I read this for all of you and all of you and for you. I am grateful to be and exist, to be free. There is joy to my smile, joy when I cry, joy to witness that which is. Yellow fields blanketed by dado fields, lilies spreads of lavender and tons of marigold flowers. Thank you. I fall on my knees in a humbleness. I have no idea who to be thankful to. I have no idea what is there, or if there is a there at all, anything to hear my grateful soul. I just know that I'm grateful because intertwined in my blood, there is pain and there is sorrow. And also colors, music, and a good laugh. Oh yes, I am grateful. That is so true. I have a nose, a mouth, I have a daughter, a dog, friends I can count on, a nana, and a canvas to paint on. I have ears and I can hear. I have a mind and I have eyes. I have this moment of now that I share with you, my soulful friends. I am grateful. I have the joy of being me. And truly, that is all there is. Thank you.
I want to thank again the team and the crew that made all this possible. I also want to thank you all for being with us, for your awareness and courage to share this precious conversation with Eugenia. Eugenia, muchas gracias a ti siempre. Goodbye, hasta luego.
Thank you, Eugenia and Katya. And thank you once again for joining us this evening. And we would like to thank the production team who made this production possible.